This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 578 for the week of Sunday, July 14th, 2019. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And on today's show, we have very special guest translator for One Piece in Shonen Jump and Manga Plus. We have Stephen Paul with us. How's it going, Stephen?
Hello, Zach. I'm happy to be here.
Happy to have you here. This is a very Stephen-centric episode, as we'll talk about in a moment. We also have from Anime News Network. I think he's almost done with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. But he also reviews Black Clover and One Piece, amongst others. We have Sam Leach with us. How's it going, Sam?
Hey guys, lazy Sunday. Feels good.
Yeah, I agree. So today we're going to be going through volume 93. Do you have the title of that, Stephen, in front of you?
It is the Star of Ebisu.
Yeah, so Stephen, we do this, I guess, 4 times a year or so. We go through the latest volume, the latest SBSs, what's behind the cover, what's on the cover, some of the Usopp's Gallery stuff sometimes. Are you excited for this one? How does this one strike you?
I'm excited and ready. It's a little lighter on the SBS than usual for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. There's a few more pages or chapters without any Q&A stuff behind it, but we'll go through them all regardless.
Great. And so we have stuff scheduled for our next breaks as well, and we have stuff scheduled for the next few weeks. So I'm going to go through that all here at the top of the show. So if you want to know what's happening on the One Piece podcast, don't skip 15 seconds ahead. I know you're thinking about it. Don't even think about it. So first off, I have for some reason decided that, it's been a little over 4 years since we've done Goop Troop Bloop Blorp and discussed the openings and how we feel about those. So we're going to be doing, in the next few months, probably 2 manga breaks from now, our opening rankings. Those are going to return.
In honor of an opening that most everyone seems to like.
Yeah, I think it's pretty widely praised, at least for the visual aspects. So we're going to be going through that 2 times from now. The next break, I think we're going to be going through the One Piece magazine volume 6, depending on Steven's availability, of course. You've gone through that a little bit.
I've skimmed through it. Mm-hmm.
There's a whole Wano feature, right?
Yes, there's a whole bunch of Wano stuff. They go in depth on a lot of the the weird like Rakugo references. Things about how all those people that who was it? Frankie goes running to looking for the special errand thing. All of them are like in some way related to some Rakugo routine or another. So things like that. And there's actually, it's really unfortunate that there aren't like English versions of these or a way to get this information surfaced, because there's also just like basically just like, here's what all of these things are, these Edo period things. Here's what an oiran is. Here's what her little attendants are supposed to do. Here's what, the firefighters are all about. All of these, sort of cultural relics and artifacts that have appeared in the Wano arc and their actual real life background. So there's a lot of good information in this magazine.
You see, I was going to suggest like putting it into the digital Shonen Jump, but that doesn't really exist as it used to.
No.
So
I mean, I think ideally it would be nice to like be able to put them into the volumes, but that's, a whole round of red tape and stuff that, because they don't exist in the Japanese volumes, and it's complicated.
Yeah, and as much as I love the One Piece magazines, they would probably do okay here, but I don't know like how well supplemental One Piece merch does generally. But if you
buy those color walks,
buy the compendiums if you are not, because if you want to see the magazines in English, that's a good way to do it. Also, it'll give Steven more to do, because he's clearly just bored and has nothing to do all the time.
No,
nothing. So for those wondering why we're not doing the magazine this week and we're doing volume 93, it's because I put a poll out on Patreon and asked which we should do this week and which we should do next time. So if you want to decide on that kind of stuff, you could join us on Patreon at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. We also have 3,500 plus photos. We make our announcements for guests and stuff. We have an exclusive Crewing Around podcast, which we'll be posting every so often. And a lot more. So, yeah, join us there if you haven't. These are the guests coming in the next few weeks. We have Steven here this week. He's always our very special guest. Next week, we have RogersBase. You may know him. He's coming back. Dan Dockery from Crunchyroll is going to be back the following week. Nate Ming, formerly of Crunchyroll, is going to be back on August 4th. On August 11th, we have Abby Denton, comedian, who's been on your other podcast, Steve. I know you sat down with her talking about, was it Gundam?
Yeah, Gundam 0083.
Yeah, good series. We have Caleb, our other very special guest and translator. He does My Hero Academia, Dr. Stone, which is big this week because we just heard that there's going to be a Ro and Noah Zoro spinoff from the Dr. Stone author, right, Stephen?
Yes, from the well, I don't know if the author has anything to do with it, if it's just the artist, but yeah, it's definitely drawn by Boichi.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
He's not from Japan, right? There's one of them I know
who's
who's
Korean.
Yeah.
Yes,
Korean. Okay, because there's one who posts in English all the time, and I'm guessing that's the one. I forget if it's the author or the artist.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And then I also asked Ben Jawono, Ein, you may know him as, he's going to come on August 25th. So really excited to have him on the show. I met him, I think, we talked about this.
I was gonna say, I feel like recently. That's a long time coming.
Yeah. I just put it out there. I know he's really, really insanely busy all the time. So that's another reason we say these are subject to change. They're subject to change not just because we have very important guests coming on the show, including Steven, but we also don't know when Oda decides to take a break or when there's I don't think there's any holidays between now and then. But,
or when he accepts our interview.
Yeah, it's not like you were going to say when he's available.
Oda's never available. So, yeah, that's all I think. Oh, there's also an announcement in next week's Shonen Jump. Though I don't think we know exactly what that announcement is. It has to do, I believe Greg had mentioned on Twitter. Stephen, do you have any information or do you have that information?
So yeah, I think the whole thing is that next issue is the I guess that's what Shueisha has chosen to celebrate as, like One Piece Memorial Day or whatever. So that's going to be.
I like that title for it.
Yeah, that's going to be.
We remember the fallen One Piece.
Yeah,
go ahead.
The 22nd anniversary of the One Piece manga, and so that's why they have this one shot, which is kind of like the second, I guess not crossover, but the second example of a Jump artist doing a One Piece like Straw Hat centric. One shot. We obviously saw the Food Wars guy do Sanji not too long ago, and now Boichi's doing Zoro. And apparently they are going to have some kind of an update or a teaser or something related to the live action Hollywood series that is still being worked on behind the scenes. So it sounds like we're gonna get some some info dropping soon.
Nice. And so I guess every year they're doing these one shots. I'm kind of surprised Horikoshi wasn't like on deck because he was a big One Piece fan.
I think Horikoshi's too busy.
I was gonna say Horikoshi is doing like 15-page chapters for the last like 2 years or so. So he's either he's really busy and or he's also trying to manage his condition the way that Oda does. So
he's taken after his idol already. 15-page chapters, stretching himself thin with movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds very familiar. Anything else you guys want to mention at the top here? Otherwise, we could talk about the volume. Oh, we also have, by the way, an anime recap. I don't know, Sam, do you have in front of you the episode number?
Yeah, it's 893, and the title is Otama Appears, Luffy versus Kaido's Army.
Yeah, and I unfortunately have not had time to watch the episode yet, but I'm going to watch it.
And so it
probably
begins.
Tomorrow. Oh, God. I'm going to, I really want to, because does this, what do you think? Better, worse, same as last week's?
About the same.
Okay, that's good.
Pretty good.
Last week's was great, yeah. Okay, so let's get started. This segment of the podcast also includes images. So when you hear this noise, it means an accompanying image from Volume 93 of One Piece will come along with it. These images don't work on all podcasting platforms, but it should work on YouTube at youtube.com/OnePiecePodcast and on many of your podcast services. So without further ado, let's get into the recap of Volume 93. This is the Manga Recap for Volume 93, The Star of Abisu. Steven, what's going on the cover?
Oh man, what isn't going on the cover? I forget if I said this like after Volume 92's cover came out, but if I did, I feel like it's worth reiterating, especially now that the anime is getting into Wano as well, that it is very clear now that Wano is just all about color. This is just like insane. All these hair colors and these kimono colors are amazing, and he's really just going over the top. This is some Lisa Frank Sugar High
over the top.
Oh wow! Oh, okay. It's the new anime opening scene.
What's that? Oh yeah. Okay. I see. I see what I did there. Yeah, it's crazy. They even have like the background color is like a gradient from yellow to pink at the bottom. I don't know. Does anyone else feel like some Starburst right now?
Fruit roll up, I think.
No, yellow and pink are good Starburst flavors.
Yeah, not as good as red, but Wait,
oh, you're wrong.
Hold on, what?
No.
Pink and red
pink
are
is
top tier.
Yes, red
pink,
is good.
Red,
but
yellow, orange. Duh.
Mostly. That's mostly correct.
No, it's exactly correct.
Red
Okay,
I
is
literally
Luffy's,
do not know how you could argue otherwise.
red is Luffy's color. Clearly, that's the best.
Okay. Let's save this for our next Crewing Around episode. Just about Starburst. We'll call it Just About Starburst. Anyway, Steven, what else?
So yeah, we I guess we get confirmation that what's her name? Not Komurasaki. Hiyori still has the same hair color, which makes the disguise angle a little more awkward, but whatever. And we get, have we had the like hair color confirmations for like Hyo and Queen before this?
These
for
are
example? These are
No,
new.
Hyo's new and Queen's
Yeah.
new.
Hyo's hair looks like that ice cream cone I had at Tsukiji.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
it is. Soda flavored.
Yeah.
Like
Ramen flavor. Yeah.
yeah.
Blue flames, so you know they're extra hot.
Yeah.
Blue flames.
Marco style.
Flames.
And Tonoyasu has blue hair. Should have known.
Yeah, very dark blue.
I don't know how much we talked about the hair last time, but I actually really like Hyo's color scheme. Like the whole thing, I like a lot. Tonoyasu, we got like right on the mark, I think.
But he doesn't
He's
have
doing
pink.
the
the
Sonic
same
the
as Sonic.
Hedgehog.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he doesn't have pink hair though, so he can't be related to what's her
No,
name?
but you know who does have pink hair?
Miss Bobbins, or whatever her stupid name is.
No, it's his kid.
His kid does have pink hair, which is exactly how we drew it, or how Maddie drew it.
So now we
which
gotta
is
start
insane.
figuring out who the mom is. It's
Yeah,
Big Mom.
well-
Oh my God.
I think you guys are glossing over one of the most important points of conversation here is Soba Mask's red scarf.
yeah. Maddie
That's
was working
true.
out over that.
Mhm.
Was she?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
I
and
forgot
then,
he
of
was
course,
there, and I'm staring at it.
And if you're watching the anime, you get to see a little bit more of him in the intro. And yeah, a lot of red and white in the Soba Mask attire. I'm really surprised by that.
Maybe we should lift this cover and assume nothing has changed under the
Let's-
cover.
Well,
Let's
let's find the Panda Man.
Let's just make
Yeah.
everyone the orange starburst, so we're just right in the middle.
All right. And Panda Man is he's just kind of peeking over Queen's shoulder. That's not really that
No.
interesting.
He's the
Or
he's the
hooked into
ponytail.
the hair. Yeah, he's
He's
the
the
ponytail.
Oh, okay. Well, that's still okay. But oh my God, what is going on here?
Hey, they were in an SPS. These are Zoro's swords.
We have Zoro's Zoro's swords are showing their true nature on the underside of the cover.
Are the faces like straight up like scanned in from the?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's like a slightly lower resolution.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the funny thing is, this is exactly before we had drawings. Like, this is basically the episode image joke we made. It's like, let's just put a really bad photocopy of something right over a Photoshop thing right over.
Right.
I
over something.
almost
And
want to
Oda's-
suggest.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to suggest this should be the episode image now.
I see what you're doing.
It's great.
But we
Yeah,
don't get
no,
all three of his swords.
Yeah, so which two are
No.
these? This is Wado Ichimoji and
Sundai
Uh,
Kitetsu.
Sundai
Sundai
Kitetsu.
Kitetsu. Yeah,
Because
I always forget.
at this point, Shusui has been confiscated.
You can tell by the guard at the with the handle.
I'm really upset the Scythe doesn't get its own persona also.
It doesn't
And
have a
what would
name,
it
man.
be?
Yeah.
We don't know that. It might. Well, I guess it doesn't. I guess this is confirmation it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Has no soul.
It's not a sword.
I don't know. If your soul looks like these swords, do you really want one?
I was gonna make like a really random Shaman King joke. I was gonna say these are Zoro's oversouls, but it's a little too 2003 for you
It's
guys.
a little too. Nobody else has watched Shaman King.
Yeah. Well, if we had a proper release, I would watch it again.
You hear us? That's right.
Do you
All
hear
right.
Steve and only Steve? Anyway,
There's
what's going on
dozens
the
of us.
flap?
Yeah,
What's
Steve and
going on
Joey.
on the flap?
On the flap, Oda has drawn the Edo Macarena here. He's got
Oh yeah, I'll write that one down.
it's a classic classic dance, and you can see he's got 4 parts here, and there are directions where you swing your hands up to the upper left and then down to the lower right, and then you spin around and you stick them back up to the left and say soy.
This is just the hokey pokey.
It's the hokey pokey, yeah.
Why didn't we do this when we were in Japan? Oh, I wish this had come out at that time.
There was only so many classes we could have taken in Matsumoto, so
No,
It's
but just imagine all of us walking down the street doing this dance.
yeah,
Especially
like
Steve.
fucking foreigners. Jeez.
It's the hokey pokey, HOKIPOKI, hokey pokey.
Oh
Hokey
my
pokey.
Do the hockey
So-
pokey.
Jesus.
Hockey.
Don't write those down.
No, don't.
I'm writing
so-
all of those down.
So Oda's comment is like, all right, so have you guys, we've all had the same thought, right? You think of what I'm thinking? So when at the end, when he goes, soy, you know what he's talking about, right? He's got to be talking about soybeans. Volume 93.
Sorry, I'm
So-
trying to do that.
Is that the
That horn
Vuvuzela thing?
Yeah.
Or whatever
The
that
Vuvu-
is. I don't know. Air horn? That's like
It's
an air
either
horn.
air horns, yeah.
It's either that or you're just doing like your favorite grunt that Black Dynamite does in the film Black Dynamite. Watch the movie Black Dynamite. It's really fun.
There are literally
Right,
dozens.
over 2, yeah, over 2, Steve.
Trying.
So the
yeah, maybe we should
character
get in.
profile, the character profiles. I think they did this last volume too. For these straw hats, they all have their Wano names, and they all have, instead of their like ship roles, they have their Wano professions.
Oh, that's
So
funny. I forgot
yeah.
about that.
Luffy and Zoro are Ronin. Nami is Kunoichi. Usopp Usohachi is the toad oil salesman. Sangoro, the soba cook. Chopparamon, the ninja. Orobi, the geisha. Furanosuke, the carpenter. And Bonkichi, the ghost. And then there's Shanks.
What would Shanks's role be if he were in Wano?
And that's a good question.
Sure. Oh, I know the answer. He'd be the town drunk.
Could be,
No?
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what that's called in Japanese culture or Edo era Japanese culture, but
My guess is they would, if they gave him a name, it would be like his red hair thing, like rather than Shanksuke or
it'd
something
be
like that. Yeah.
Shanks-K. Sasuke. You're trying to say Sasuke.
God. Now I just imagine. Oh no, it wasn't Haki that scared off to the sea monster in the beginning of One Piece. It was just Shanks's Sharingan.
Yep. And then
I'm
there's
sorry, guys.
of course the huge cast of characters on the following two pages.
Wow, what a wild assortment we have. I just realized, like, what a crazy cast we got going.
And pretty much all of the right page is all under the subheader of the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance. So they're all there. And then on the left side is all the Animal Kingdom pirates.
All your favorites. Even page 1.
So this volume has 11 chapters. It's a little bit fatter than usual, which is nice. Although, as I said, there's fewer SBS than usual. This covers from chapter 932 to 942. So we start with, I guess, once it's the chapter when things start going south in Shogun Orochi's thing, where we see his actual Orochi, Yamato no Orochi form for the first time, and it ends with the execution of Yasuie and the Smile Fruit reveal. So pretty much packed with lots of stuff.
I love Orochi's dragon form
It's great.
so much.
Yeah,
it's so good. Anyway, go ahead.
So we will start with the first SBS header, where we don't even have to go through the question and answer rigmarole. It's just Nami slapping Oda's fish and going, "Oh, the SBS already." And he included the insert of the scene where Nami slaps Kinemon for talking about how Shinobu is like a sexy kunoichi or whatever, and then she slaps him. So Oda responds with like indignant. He's like, "What? You first you slapped me, and the segment has already started." It's like, man, that really hurts. And we get right into the like Oda draws the bonus thing segment. It's like the very first section here, where someone requests that we do the face that we previously saw with the advance party in Wano, this time with Sanji, Nami, Chopper, and Brook. And so we get
why we don't have one for Luffy, because they're all reacting to Luffy, but I really would have liked to see Luffy's. Maybe we're going to have it
to
in
his
the
own
future.
Newspaper.
Yeah, I know, but maybe he's going to do that face in the future, and that's why he doesn't do it here.
That'd be pretty funny, I guess. Yeah.
It's called the callback, guys.
Face.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite of these four?
Of these four.
I like Brooke's big jaw.
Chopper's creeps me out for some reason.
A pass, Frankie.
I like Nami's. Nami's pretty funny.
Yeah, Nami's is really great.
Yeah.
I like to say Nami.
So
Nami doesn't have enough chin. and Brooke has no chin.
None of them have chins.
Sanji does. Sanji gets 3.
No, Sanji looks like a Diglett.
Brooke's got a chin because he doesn't have like a neck to like hide it in.
Yeah, that's true. I should say necks. Yeah, you're right.
But
they call those double chins. Yeah, whatever.
You can't do it,
Steven.
You can't do the double, triple chin.
Not Brooke. So the next one is actually, this is a good question because I know we were all wondering about these things. It is about the local animals of Wano that we've been seeing, all these weird looking versions of animals. And so this person is asking, what's up with these? What are the details? And they were specifically asking about Hawkins' like big deer thing. And so if you'll recall, Komachio, the first one that we saw, is the Komai Inu lion dog. And so what Oda does is it's sort of like with the what was it, the Minotaurs or the in Impel Down, where the Mino Chihuahua and Mino everything else, where these are all like Koma Inu, Koma Shika, Koma Tori, Koma Dane. So this is like the Koma deer, Koma bird, Coma Dog, and then Coma Dane was the big dog that we saw, the Great Dane. And so he explains that they are they have fur that is flame like. So I guess they're not literally flames. They're just fur that looks like flame. And so that's the explanation for these cool looking animals. All right, and on our next SBS section, the header is the adorable little flower ninja from the Orochi Oniwa Banshu, and she is slicing up the SBS with her shooting star, her shuriken. It's pretty cute.
I forgot this was even a character.
How could you forget?
I mean,
so
easily.
Well, I guess when you're reading the volume, it's probably not as bad because they just got introduced in an early. Are they introduced in this chapter or might be the next one? Yeah. Anyways, so the first question here is kind of a callback to Whole Cake Island, and it is about the special cream that Sanji whipped up for Big Mom, his ultimate cream, the Simsim whip. And this person is asking what Simsim is. Now, I believe
Did you
at the
say
time,
Simpson whip?
Simsim, Simsim.
I was gonna say. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Tough day for the Impson special cream.
So I actually did go into this at the time that Simsim was the Arabian word for sesame, and Oda actually goes into the background here because it was mentioned. I got the hint because it was mentioned that sesame was one of the ingredients that Sanji asks for pudding and chiffon to gather for him. And so Oda explains that Simsim means sesame, and some people in the Middle East, consider sesame to have magical powers or mystical powers. And so that's why in the story of Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, he says, open sesame, to open the door. And so in Arabian, I meant to look this up, what the actual spelling was, but in using the katakana, it looks like iftaf ya simsim. And that's the word for open sesame. So, basically Sanji was using this power and this flavor, this mystical, magical power of sesame in his whipped cream. He probably did not realize it, but as we know, from Big Mom's past, whipped cream is a big part of her favorite, semla. So the fact that he had the Simsim whipped cream in there, that helped call forth Big Mom's memories, and had a huge effect on the the food battle that they had. So there you go. That's the background for that. And the second question here is, as you can see, is about Sengoku in his Buddha form. So this reader writes, Oda Sensei, I had a dream the other day about former Fleet Admiral Sengoku when he was, in his giant Buddha statue form, like the great Buddha of Kamakura. In this dream, his hair, they call it rahatsu, which is the little ball-like hair things. They would light up white, like a roulette wheel or something like that. They go ding, 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 and rotate around his whole head. And one of them was the dot in his forehead. And if it landed on the dot, so if his dot was lit up, and you can see in the little pencil drawing, the third one is where he's smiling because the forehead dot is lit up. Then that's like the jackpot. And if you win the jackpot, then you get the navel crackers. Or I guess he asks, will you get the navel crackers if you win the jackpot?
That'd be a lame prize, just saying.
And Oda is like, oh my God, that is the cutest dream. He's like, I wish I had this as like a mobile game, try to win the jackpot on the Sengoku. So There you
That's the
go.
most
Or rather,
genuine Oda answer I think we've ever gotten for any question.
that
It's like,
sounds.
I want a game of that.
Yeah, very cute. It's better than your average SBS
Yes,
silly
it is.
question. Speaking of which, we'll move on to the next SBS. And on this one, the header is I guess this is like escaped themed because we have Raizo joined by Shinobu and Nami, and they're flying on the little escape kites, which we've seen Raizo use that, and I think we saw Shinobu when they were escaping the Shogun's mansion as well. And the first question here is more of the background. If you remember, I think last volume we had the sort of hidden kanji on the sumo banners, where it was like the kanji were like cleverly hidden references to other characters. Like if you read out the kanji, they would sound like Morgan or Hyozo or all these other random questions. So this reader, the question that Oda selected points out that they found one of let's see, Gedatsu was one of them. There was also the one of the signs for a restaurant, which was in larger detail. It's called Meshiya, and it looks like Hanegaya, which would be like winged restaurant or wing place or something like that. But you can actually read that Pagaya. And then some of the graves in what's it called? Ringo, is that where the snow is? Yeah. There are some that say Kuroobi and Gaimon as well. So Oda says, all right, I asked my staff. I went to the staff, and they said, okay, the ones that they could confirm or they could identify. So these are all the sumo titles. And if you recall, so these are all end with like Zeki or Seki, which is one of the ranks. It's like Yokozuna, lower than Yokozuna. So there's Odori Jango Zeki, so that's dancing Jango. Hyozo Umi Zeki, so that's Hyozo C. Mogan Onozeki, that's Morgan Axe. There's Marine Ferd Zeki, Geratsu Zeki, Iceberg Zeki, and Wiper Zeki. So those are the ones that they can confirm. In chapter 917, there's also apparently Hamburg Zeki. I don't know if that's referring to the Foxy character or if that's like just hamburger steak.
No, it could also be Burger Ham Lincoln.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. And so Oda finishes his comment with like, man, both of you. So he's referring to both his staff and his readers for finding this stuff. He's like, man, you guys are nuts. You're like, you guys are just crazy. This is wild. So he gives his props to both sides. And the next question here is a reader who says, mixed bathing. Master Oda, mixed bathing. If I was to mixed bathing, go to the flower capital mixed bathing, how can I get to the mixed bathing, the bathhouse where I can mixed bathing, take a bath? And Oda's like, oh my God, you're completely oozing your disgusting desire. This is just unspeakable. He's like, this, you don't understand. This is culture. Even now in Japan, there are hot springs where there is mixed bathing. And back in the Edo period, it was just, it was commonplace. It was a normal thing. And since Wano is obviously based off of Edo era Japan, I reluctantly, against my will, had to draw the bath scene with mixed bathing. I had no choice. It was really out of my hands. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. By the way, can you pass me the tissues, because I have a nosebleed right now. So
at least it was for the nosebleed.
Yeah. Thank you, Ed. I wasn't going to go there.
On a completely different note, I'm noticing, since we don't get to see the Japanese original that often, So the next chapter is a good example as we like go through everything. I don't know if it's it is this one. So the title's in English, or I should say English characters, Queen, and the Queen's dance, which includes the word funk in it, is also in English, and I did not know that going into it. And that makes me really that makes me love his entrance even more. I think that like this is such a good like almost like soft reboot to the Frankie entrance. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, there's some similarities there for sure. The next SBS header is from someone named Andrea in Spain. And yeah, it is Nami, Otama, and I guess that's Okiku maybe, doing the face. And it's kind of subtle, but you can see the shape of their mouths is making the SBS. Very creepy. So the first question is about someone. I think we discussed this in the Reverie chapters. So in volume 90, chapter 905, when Bello, Betty, and Koala are talking, there's a girl with black hair to the left of Koala, and it looks like her hand is all mecha. It's all mechanical. What's her name? Please tell us more about her. And Oda says, all right, so in the Revolutionary Army, you have the like 5 army captains or whatever, or commanders or whatever I called them, for East, West, North, South, Blue, and then the Grand Line. And so, for example, for the Grand Line, their commander is Ivankov, and then Ivankov's like EXO is his vice captain or whatever is Inazuma, and each of the captains has their own sort of aide or their second in command. So this one is the aide to Bello Betty, the East Army captain, and her name is Ahiru, and that's Japanese for duck. So that's continuing the trend of naming women after the Japanese words for various types of birds.
Oh, did they ask about the Eggman?
They did not ask about the Eggman. And he says, so as for Ahiru, as for her, as for whether or not she will get treated to a big role in the story, I don't know. So he basically makes it sound like he's going to tell you, oh, she's going to get a big shot in the future, and he says, actually, no, he doesn't know. So maybe we'll see more of her, maybe we won't. And the next question is about the clouds of Wano. It says, so are the clouds of Wano I was just noticing like your farts, they're like different from the normal farts, right? And Oda is like, excuse me? Are you saying that you're assuming that all of the clouds you see floating in the sky in the backgrounds are my farts? He's like, they're clouds. Clouds float in the sky. Those are clouds. And he says, yes, well, you noticed that they do look different in Wano, don't they? Since it's Wano, I wanted to make it look like one of those old ukiyo-e woodblock type things. And so that's why they are different from the usual farts. So there you go.
Oh, they are farts.
He plays
confirmed. No, it's
yes.
canon. It's canon.
And the last question is, when Kaido is in his dragon form, how does he float? How does he fly? And Oda says, so dragons. So this is, of course, referring to.
I thought they were going to ask, how does he poop? Which is also a legitimate question. Go ahead.
I didn't realize that was, under suspicion. It's out the butthole, I would assume. So he says, Oda says, so dragons, referring, of course, to Ryu, the, Asian dragons. I've heard that they fly by grabbing clouds. So basically what Kaido is doing is he is creating clouds and then walking across them. That's how he flies.
Isn't that the what do they call Doflamingo? The something demon? The
Heavenly demon.
Heavenly Demon. But didn't they
And
like?
Yasha.
Wasn't that a similar kind of?
Yeah,
conceit?
he would use his strings to grab clouds and then like do a Spider-Man swing, I guess.
Yeah, and it's also the thing that Momonosuke did in Punk Hazard.
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
The same type of thing. Our next SBS header is this is another frequent artist who sends in stuff. This one is adorable. It's a precious little chopper, and he's with Hitetsu's tea kettle Tanuki there, and then there is Tonoyasu in kite form, and I guess. Well, I guess the SBS is just the. I was looking for it in the kites, but it's actually just the little cloud things in the background. Very cute. And speaking of the Tanuki tea kettle, we have a question that says, so in Otama's house, there is the the old kind of fairy tale. It's what they call Bunbuku Chagama, which is the Bunbuku is, I guess that's the name. Or the Tanuki name, and then Chagama is like the tea kettle. There's this Tanuki in there. So I would assume that she uses her power to, or wait, no, what is he saying? He's saying, I think that she's not using her power to, command the Tanuki, that, she has her dango, her dumpling power. I'm sure I can imagine lots of wonderful, heartwarming tales about how they came to be together. What's the actual story? And Oda says, you noticed him. Yes. This is actually, so this is a tea kettle that ate the dog fruit model Tanuki, or I guess in English, it will be the model raccoon dog. So that works out.
Oh my God.
It was a tea kettle that Hitetsu treasured and used very carefully, and now that it has powers, it still sticks around with Hitetsu and Otama.
So how does a tea kettle eat a devil fruit? I'm assuming Vegapunk is not involved here. So do they just boil the devil fruit? Is that what happened? Like in the tea kettle?
It's a good question.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, like, this is the second time it would be a dog devil fruit, too, because the gun, Lasso, ate the dog devil fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the other way around?
Also, that seems like an awful waste of this fruit, which, I would have, liked to see in some other form, but whatever. Unless the tea kettle comes back in some way.
There's nothing more that Zach wants in One Piece than big balls.
So,
We've got Chopper.
Oda continues.
Wait, what about Chopper's balls?
He's the Tanuki.
Yeah. Not really.
So Oda continues. Now the tea kettle still sticks around with Hitetsu and Otama since it was taken care of. However, it obviously is now very sensitive to heat, being alive. So it is now a pet that cannot boil water. But Oda continues. There was something I wanted people to notice, and no one sent in any letters about it. So I'm going to choose to reveal this secret now. Look carefully, because our little friend Bunbuku is sitting on his own ball sack. So
wow.
that's what the cushion is underneath.
That is so gross. I don't have any other way to put that.
It's like it's like the videos of the old guys sitting on their balls and reacting in pain. Except he seems
poor
fine.
Mr. Belvedere.
Do we know the chapter?
You're trying to find the chapter.
Because he doesn't look like that in the picture in the volume.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's that would be in the first scene.
It's the very first one in 81 or 91. Sorry.
91.
That's 9/11.
Is not out yet.
9/11, I think it is.
I'm
looking.
All right.
You could talk about other things. Oh,
okay.
No, it cuts it off. It's that same. The picture looks identical, as far as I could tell.
Oh,
so
it's not like a detail.
There were a few chapters where that I think appeared, so it could be one of them.
Oh, there's also an overhead shot of it. but I don't think you could tell. Why? God, I guess this
that
is one of the.
explains. I guess that explains why Oda drew it rather than having the background artists draw the cushion, because it's part of him. It's living.
Well, I guess we know what Steve's drawing this week. A giant ball sack.
I quit.
So, yeah,
Steve just never shows up again.
And then Oda finishes his comment, and nobody noticed. I was drawing it and laughing my ass off all on my own, and nobody noticed.
Yeah, he is in a few chapters, but you really can't tell. Like you really can't
wouldn't
tell.
Think about it.
Is that Tea Kettle in this week's anime episode?
Next week.
Yeah. Next week. Well, I guess we'll see that then. Sometimes ignorance is really bliss. Oh, please don't.
So our next question is about Whitebeard. He probably sat on his balls a few times, but the actual question is about his naginata, his long halberd. Then this reader wants to know the name, and it wants to know if it is the Saijo o Wazamono, or I guess I forget what the term was, but this was like the highest class of crafted weapons. And Oda confirms that yes, that's what it is. And its name is Murakumo Giri, and that would be like Cloud Slicer or something like that. It's a pretty cool name. Lastly, we have a question that goes as follows. So would the going rate for Nami's happiness punch still be 100,000 berries? They have an insert from the bathhouse scene in this volume. Or, given that the last time we saw it was in Alabasta, since she has grown as well, since her assets have inflated, would the price have inflated as well? And Oda says, oh yeah, I'm sure it would have. Obviously this time Nami was not doing it intentionally. So it's been since Alabasta. Gosh, that brings me back, doesn't it? I would assume that she could charge 300,000 berries this time.
Yeah, well, you got to adjust for inflation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like $3,000 probably. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
sure.
Go ahead.
I'll pitch in on
No follow-up.
Okay.
This is going to be the last SBS segment of this volume. Our header is of Sangoro, the soba cook, and he is slicing up his noodles there in the SBS shape. And our first question, oh boy, this one, I saw it when I flipped through the volume, and I was like, oh boy, this is going to be fun to translate. I don't even know how I'm going to explain it right now, much less put it in the book. So the reader says, I was watching One Piece Gold, the film Gold, and in it, there's a scene where Sakazuki talks to Lucci. And he says, so in Japanese, he says, Zuibun ero natta no. And that is sort of in Sakazuki's, I'm just going to explain the joke here. So in Sakazuki's sort of dialect, if you will, he sort of twists, he kind of contorts the vowels of the word that he was saying. So he's basically telling Luffy, like, oh, you think you're a big shot now. You think you're great, except instead of great, instead of erai, he says what sounds like eroi, which means erotic or perverted.
Wow.
And so Oda goes off this joke. So this reader's asking, like, so how exactly did he get more perverted? And Oda is like, well, people get more perverted by the day. That's just, that's just the laws of nature.
That's just science.
It's just science. And even Rob Lucci is no exception to this. So as I recall, in this scene, Rob Lucci, Sakazuki just showed up at a scene where Rob Lucci was printing out some naughty pictures. and asked him like, "Hey, would you mind slipping me one of those?" And he's going on, and then he trails off, and he's like, "He means great." He said it. He said "Edo, erakunatana." Yeah, that's what he means. He meant this other word. So that's the joke. So I'm gonna have to go look at my Blu-ray copy, see what that line is, and see if there's any jokes we can make with that.
And do you use the subtitle line or do you use the dub line? Yeah,
it's not that often that we get SBS questions about the movies like this.
Yeah, it's
to be fair, this is a stupid question.
Yeah, it is a stupid question.
You're neurotic.
Yo, you're so neurotic. It's like, do you say you're an erotic? I don't know. So the last one here is
you perplex me. Did he say I was sexy? I'm trying to.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. We're
yeah.
Well, we could workshop this one.
Yeah. We're here to help, Stephen.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Last question is this is a useful one. It is about the Den Mushi. So here's a question for you, Odachi. On Zou, Kinemon seemed to be completely unfamiliar with the concept of the Den Mushi. However, once Wano Kuni started, they have their own, pond snail versions of these sort of tube-shaped versions of the Den Mushi. So what does that mean? Does that mean that in the last 20 years, Wano got its own newest state-of-the-art form of communication? And if you will recall, these were called the smart snails or the smails. And there's a couple, different images of them on Zou, and then Usopp and the udon snail too. And Oda says that is correct. As Usopp says in chapter 934, these are snails. They're the Japanese word is tanishi. That's a certain type of snail, pond snail, that send mental signals. When in the 20 years since Kinemon et al. Have been gone, Wano has begun to use them as a very common form of communication, of distant communication. Like the visual transponder snails, there are also the light scroll snails. However, they do seem to have a drawback that the mental signal is a little bit weaker than the usual transponder snail. ... And that's it. That's time. I'll see you again next SBS. And there's some advertising stuff for One Piece Stampede in the back. So yeah, I'm not sure. I forget if this volume has the mention of the boss snail, or if Oda is just sort of teasing that.
I think that just happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Maybe
so
like a week
he's
or so ago.
Yeah, he's kind of laying a bit of a tease for that reveal in the prison.
Yeah, that's after this. Yeah, because that was after Toniyasu.
Exactly.
So you had pointed out this really disturbing Usopp's gallery of fake Luffy in Gear 4.
Yeah.
Not much else to say about that other than that exists.
I'll just take a picture of that.
It's not going to be in the English version, so.
Yeah, that's available for those who could see the images on this, and for those who can't, count yourselves among the lucky ones there. Any questions for Steven, guys, about the volume?
How do you do it, man?
Do what?
the whole shebang.
Well, first I have to draw all these chapters. And...
Wait. Maybe the reason Oda doesn't reveal himself is because he's Stephen Paul. Really makes you think.
Thought it was Oda.
Really? But it was you, Stephen. Anyway, so that's going to do it. Why don't we move into the anime recap? Sam, you ready?
Ready. This is the anime recap for episode 893. Otama appears. Luffy versus Kaido's army. I'm your host Sam, and today with me we have, as usual, we have Ed.
Hi.
And joining us this week, we also have our good friend Steve.
Hi, I'm here because I really want to talk about Wano.
I want to talk about it too.
Our title card begins at 4 minutes and 25 seconds, and it opens with the baboon and the Koma Inu from last week getting into a scuffle. The baboon has a katana. I can't remember if it's at this part in the episode or not, but the title cards that show up for the animals are really funny because the baboon's title card is just a baboon. Like the A makes it funny. Like if it was just baboon, not funny. A baboon, that's funny.
It's not a special baboon.
I mean, it's really big and it has a sword, so I don't know what else it's got to do.
No.
So this moves us into Luffy kind of remembering his last moments with the crew. So there's this whole entire scene that we didn't see when Luffy was getting sucked into the whirlpool where Sanji's grabbing onto Nami and Carrot. And he's like, "Don't worry, ladies, I've got this." And then I really like the little jokes that the anime added here, like Chopper begging Sanji to let him on too, and Sanji's like, sorry, you're too heavy, Chopper." And then Chopper's crying, but then Sanji smiles. Just kidding. Come
Take
on.
me with you. Yeah, this is anime only, right?
I know that there's a scene like I think in the manga it's, Sanji goes right for the girls. Chopper jumps on too because he can, but there's no like, "Oh, just kidding, I'm actually a sweetheart."
And then no Brook, right?
Yeah, no Brook. Brook wraps his arms around him. Sanji has some comment like, "Can't you just run on water?" But not in not in stormy oceans.
Yeah.
Brooke is like,
Luffy's
I love you.
Luffy's very cooperative. He's like, "Guys, use my belly as a trampoline," and he's letting them get away without him, basically. And then before he can follow, the octopus has grabbed him and is dragging him down into the ocean, and that's how he ended up here. Then there's a little scene where Luffy's realizing that he lost the Vivre card in his hat, and he's like kind of panicking and trying to figure out where it could have gone. I'm trying to remember which Vivre card would this be. Not really.
Probably,
right?
Or Kinemon's?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Sorry, I'm guessing at this point, but I feel like back in Zou, Kinemon gave them a Vivre card.
That's probably true. That's probably right.
Mm-hmm.
So
He gives
we
it
come back
on that
to-
pretty quickly.
Yeah. We come back to Zoro's still fighting, contrary to what happened in the manga where he beat one guy and then the scene is just over. Here he's beating like dozens of guys, and he does his Dragon Twister and he completely blows a house down.
It's like a palace. It's like a whole palace.
Yeah,
Looks great, by the way.
It looks great. He does so much more damage than we saw him do in the manga.
It makes sense, though, that he would do that.
We have the Kaido pirates, some just random henchmen. They've got a little girl in a bag. This is Otama. And then they have some mention of they have her captured because she was talking about the Kozuki clan, and they're like, we gotta interrogate that. I think they also mention her weird powers also, but I thought it was interesting that in the talk of the Kozuki people, the Kozuki family, we got like the silhouettes of like Odin and Momonosuke, but also two characters who haven't been brought up in the anime yet, which is Odin's wife and Momonosuke's sister, who suspiciously in the silhouette has teal hair. So
Mysterious teal-haired girl.
right.
But there's so many teal-haired women in Wano. She could be anybody.
And they're talking to Hawkins on the phone, so we get a little hint as to what Hawkins has been up to since he disbanded with Kid and crew. That brings us to the eye catch of the episode. Disappointingly, it's just Luffy and Zoro again. I was hoping we'd be cycling through the whole crew already.
So we get the real cool looking Zoro bit with the fighting and like him doing his attack and his eyes are all red and stuff. So we get that. We also get Luffy being really cool, like with the fight. Like
This
animated
beach fight
amazing.
looks great.
Yeah, it does. Like he dodges the bullets and like he's swinging his arms all over the place. And One Piece really looks this good. Like, and it doesn't seem like they haven't messed up the pacing yet. So
Yeah, so the henchmen, the Kaido guys they're attacking Luffy. They think they're just gonna like tranquilize him and take him into slave labor. But then Luffy kicks their asses, and the henchmen are ordering the baboon to fight. But Luffy tames him with Conqueror's Haki, and Otama hits a guy over the head with a stick.
And then runs away because it doesn't actually. She's a small child.
So after the fighting's over, she's like got her hands up in the air. She's surrendering to Luffy. Luffy doesn't really understand the concept of being surrendered to. He lets her off the hook, and then this is we get Otama's Kiwi Dango scene. She just like pulls a little piece of dango out of her cheek, which is adorable. Offers it to the baboon, and then we get a little series of scenes with the Wano crew, like Frankie talking to some guys who are hearing about Zoro in the news, and they're like trying to figure out like how does a person use 3 swords? And Frankie's like showing them with the construction tools, like one in each hand and one in the mouth, and they're just like, that's silly. No one would do that.
I have a question since I wasn't on the anime recap last week. Is Frankie doing a voice here?
I think the consensus is that like he and like Usopp's old man voice are kind of supposed to be like a Rakugo thing.
What's Rakugo, if you don't mind me asking?
Rakugo is the storyteller. Like you go on stage, like they're up on stage and they have like a set of kind of like fables that they tell, and with like flourishes and voices and things that they do.
Yeah. Oda mentioned in like one of the recent magazines being like really inspired by that, and like he models the kind of the rhythm of his dialogue after Rakugo stories, and so now they're kind of going all in.
I would recommend people watch the Rakugo anime that came out a couple years ago.
Rakugo Shinju.
Because I know for a fact that Usopp and Robin are putting on voices, and I was just wondering if Frankie was as well.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be the Rakugo thing.
And Zoro's just walking around going, huh?
Yeah, Robin and her instructor see Zoro's face on the bulletin board, and she's like freaking out inside. And Usopp has kind of a scuffle with a policeman who's like, "Oh, you know that guy, huh?" But then Usopp's like, "Please, I'm begging you, I have a family." And the guy immediately buys it. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we'll catch that guy, I swear."
I guess he
and
has
Zoro's
lots of
getting
twins.
drunk under a bridge.
He has 10 kids, and his oldest is 7.
Lots of twins.
Yeah, and Zoro's getting drunk under a bridge, which I thought was funny. And he sees his own face on the bulletin board, and he's like, "Oh, I guess, yeah, that would spread, wouldn't it?" Back to the beach, Tama is throwing some dango into the baboon's mouth, and it tames the baboon, and they have a little handshake, and she's like very excited, like, "Yay, I did it!"
I gotta say that picture of Zoro, I was saying last week, I think that it looks like from Vagabond, like Inoue's artwork.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And,
love it, all the little brushstrokes.
Luffy wants to know. He's asking Tama if this is if he's in Wano, which is different from the manga where he knew immediately at the sight of a baboon with a katana that he was in samurai country.
I like the way the baboon like smiles cutely, like when he's been tamed.
Yeah,
he's
and
great.
she explains that they are in Wano. They're specifically in a region called Kuri, and she's calling Luffy Big Brother Aniki. And Luffy kind of has a moment like, "Wait, what? What'd you call me?" And she's just smiling and teasing him and calling him Big Brother. And then the camera zooms in on a mountain, which makes you think that mountain's got to be important later, but it's not. It hasn't really come up in the manga, has it?
No.
And that's to be continued. General thoughts on the episode, you guys?
Such a well-paced episode for not a lot of progress. I mean, it introduced us to Otama and the animals, but for the other cast members, not too much. I mean, Zoro gets his swords back and messes up a bunch of guys more. Robin, Usopp only react, and Frankie, they really only react to it. But still, I felt like I got so much out of this episode, and maybe also because it just looks so damn pretty. It's just lush right now. It's just really great design and atmosphere and colors. It just
I really like something that this episode is doing a lot is it's playing with like depth of field a lot and a lot of like rack focuses and stuff. Which I always think looks really cool in anime. Ed?
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying, it's not a fast-paced episode by any means, but all the quality animation that they put into it, and all the sort of dialogue between characters that isn't necessarily there, the things that they put in to pad, like they're the things that I'm interested in. So I like to see it, and it also looks great for the most part. Like twice an episode, they'll have something that's like visually stunning. So One Piece, like it's not like this pace is really improving that much. Like there were episodes that are paced like this before, but when they do such a good job with all the other stuff, like it makes the pacing tolerable. So like I did love how the animation was in this episode. So more of that.
Yeah, it's almost like like the fight scenes are almost like too big for how small they are relative to the story.
Yeah, it's the beginning of an arc. It's a lot of nobodies.
Yeah, so it's just it's just weird that this Zoro fight has been like 2 episodes long.
I mean, it looks amazing. Like
yeah, it
the
looks
bit where
good.
his eyes glowed, it was great.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that the things that they've expanded on, I think, are really neat. I really like Frankie's scene. Like that doesn't feel like something that would have been as charming as a filler scene in the anime previously.
Mm-hmm.
I like even something like the Kozuki scene where it's putting setup in places that the anime normally like wouldn't. Like the anime usually just adapts it perfectly straight. Like if Oda didn't bring up this little detail here, then we're not going to bring it up here. But now they're getting a little braver with like kind of moving things around, and it's not necessarily
Weird.
going
I
to be a
feel like
story
they used
of
to
like
do more of that. They used to do more of that, didn't they?
yeah, I guess like maybe at the very beginning when
Yeah.
they had more freedom to do
All right,
stuff like that. But
We're talking about just like rearranging like the order of events. Like,
yeah, I mean, like think about the scene I think is really interesting is that are those like Kozuki silhouettes where it's like those are characters that we're going to be introduced to like probably in a few months. Like they're going to get name dropped in a few months from now, but they're kind of weaving them into the fabric of the overall story already as it is. Like they already exist as like figures in our mind, who even if we don't know more about them at this moment.
Yeah.
And especially with like all the local flavor stuff, like Wano is kind of a weirdly good time to do slow pacing like this because you kind of need to feel like Wano is like a home away from home for the Straw Hats.
They're gonna be there for a while.
Yeah, they're kind of squatting here for a while. So
The next couple of years.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
I think that should do it. Anything else you guys want to say?
Yeah, I'm more excited to watch next week. Yeah.
And also I didn't get a chance to talk about
The opening
over the top.
Go for it.
I do like it.
Starring Sylvester Stallone.
Starring Sylvester. Oh God, yeah. Is that the arm wrestling movie?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he.
With Scott Norton. Yeah.
Yeah, Scott Norton's in that. I really like it. I think it starts awkwardly. I think, but
I like that one dream part. I like that part when at the beginning, at the end, but at the middle, I'm having a hard time with so far.
The one dream, one wish thing seems to be the divisive part among us.
Yeah.
Really, I like that part.
Yeah, I like
That's
it
the part
too.
I like.
I think at the beginning with it just starting right with that, just
It
feel
sets you
it
up
kind
for
of
a
takes me by
different song.
surprise. Yeah, and it's a little awkward, but then it turns into a Kitadani song, and I don't know about you guys. I wasn't particularly looking for like a very how could I put this, like a Japanese styled song, like something retro, traditional maybe.
But you wanted Enka, Steve?
Is that like Enya?
Don't watch the monsters.
Okay.
Monsters. No, that's
Oh, my
that's
God.
not Paul Anka. I actually, I mean, I love We Are, and I really like We Go, and I like this one too. When I saw it late too, like last weekend. I should have been in bed, but I stayed up just to watch the episode when I got home, and at the end I was like, that was awesome. I really like the song, and the animation's brilliant. And I'm just curious because right now, like in one part, wouldn't necessarily say the chorus, but like we see like a today on One Piece, and we see the preview clips, and I'm wondering if that's temporary because we've had things replaced in openings before. Like We Go had
Had a couple
had
different
like
versions.
yeah, like Luffy was just running from right to left, and we were seeing the panels of the Straw Hats right before the time skip, and then that got replaced by them all fighting on a ship, fighting the Navy. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is just like a temporary placeholder until we get something like that. But I think just another surprising thing about this opening is we don't see any like default outfits, Straw Hats. This is all Wano.
I was happy about that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't mind that either. But I just thought that was interesting to note. But I really like it, and it's really growing on me. So I'm having a good time right now watching the anime.
Yeah. All right. I think that should do it. I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
This is the piece together, and remember how you do it. First, you put your arms up to the left, then down to the right, then you swing around, put your arms, and you say, "Dis-piece." What's going on? What's going on, Sam?
Our first disc piece this week comes from Morgil, who says, there are our only disc piece this week. Morgil says, I had this dumb dream last night where I was reading a new manga chapter where it was revealed that Drake's real name was Drake D. Iez. Have any of you guys ever had any weird One Piece dreams like that?
I just want to come up with better, like really bad D names for the other supernovas a la Waterlaw.
I
feel like we don't appreciate...
Had that one.
I feel like we don't appreciate enough how bad Goldie Roger is.
It's really terrible.
It's very silly.
The thing is, so if we were doing the podcast when that was revealed, I think we would have just destroyed that.
We're like, this
really,
series is going downhill.
Yeah, that's what we would have said back then. One Piece dreams. I mean, I've definitely had them. I just don't. I probably have talked about them on the show before. I just don't remember any off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I've never had like a One Piece specific dream. I've had like podcast dreams, but I've not.
Oh
had,
yeah,
like...
I've definitely had those. After Japan, I had a lot. Yeah.
Tell us about them.
No. That's it for this piece, right? Unless anyone has any other dreams.
I don't tend to have kick-ass awesome dreams about the things I enjoy. So
yeah, I have more dreams like what Sungwon posted of me in school forgetting a class existed. That's most of my dreams.
Yeah. That's have it all the time.
Yeah. School dream. Why does that stick in your brain? I don't understand it.
Because apparently it's related to something else you're probably like anxious about. And
yeah, because school is the thing you will always have been most anxious about. So just remember, if you're in school listening to this podcast, that's the most anxiety producing moments of your life. So enjoy it.
I don't know, Zach. You did have a wedding.
No, that's anxiety producing for other reasons. Not like anyway, I had you guys there, Steve. So I was extremely anxious. Let's do some emails. First one comes from Martin, who says, if you could obtain one of the One Piece animal companions as your own, I'm going to say choose just one, which would you choose?
I feel like I have to say Funkfried.
Yeah, you do have to say that. Plus, you'd have a sword. Yeah, that's cool.
Ryunosuke.
He would die, though.
Yeah,
it would be beautiful and tragic.
Planned obsolescence. Did we make that joke at the time? Because that's amazing.
No. I'm kind of down with Hawkins like a deer elk thing.
The Kirin, right? That's what that is.
No, it's I literally went over this.
We just discussed this literally 10
the Koma
minutes,
deer, yes.
Komashika.
Didn't we say it was a Kirin though on the show?
I think we did. Yeah,
we thought it
we
looked
guessed.
Like
one.
Yeah.
Similar.
Okay. That's hard, but I love the Kung Fu Dugongs as long as I'm in charge of them.
I could teach him Taekwondo.
Exactly. Although I would love them to teach me kung fu. Is that something I
Taekwondo
want to learn?
gongs.
Taekwondo gongs.
Ooh.
I like that.
I'll write it down, even though we already have our episode title. Taekwondo gongs. Anyway, any other animal companions? Steven, did you choose one? I'm curious what you choose.
I'll go with eyelashes, and then we'll have our own sitcom where he just bums on my couch.
He would totally be what's the guy's name in BoJack, played by Aaron Paul. Now I'm just forgetting his name.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Todd.
Yeah,
Todd.
eyelashes
Todd's
would be your Todd.
Eyelashes a prick.
That's true. Eyelashes a prick. Okay. Next question comes from Milo. This is a bit of a longer one. As a longtime listener, aspiring composer, and general music nerd. Oh, dude should have been here. Alex. His name is Alex. I wanted to weigh in on the discussion of the anime's newest opening, Over the Top. Overall, I'm slightly surprised at your seemingly lukewarm initial response to the song, and I definitely think on repeat listens you'll find this song flows a bit better than you might think, with one exception. The way the opening ends is far too abrupt. So much so that I have a theory. I think when the full version of the song drops in September, the last section of the song will be slightly expanded upon. How so? Well, I think One Wish, One Dream lyric will be repeated once more after Knockout and transition more. Steven's not going to be even like, are you completely checked out, Steven?
I'm just reading Reddit right now.
Oh, okay, great. And transition more
Not even for
smoothly into
questions,
the.
just
He just likes reading Reddit. And then transition more smoothly into Over the Top. I provided a short recreation. Is that spelled the same way? I think that is a homophone. Recreation of how I think this might sound with piano samples attached in this email. Oh, I could actually probably put this into. I'll put this at the very end of the episode. Without getting into too much music theory jargon, I think this just sounds much more satisfying structurally compared to the regular opening version, which just leaves me wanting a little more at the end. Why would they leave this out of the TV version if this was the case? I don't know. Maybe they had constraints and had to be concise. Yeah, I mean, I did take music theory. This is me, Zach, talking. I did take music theory in high school, like back in the early 2000s. So my knowledge of this is lacking at this point. But yeah, it did seem. I think my problem with the song was the structure of it. I love the visuals, and as I said, he should have corrected it as to the chorus or bridge, but that's our long discussion last time. But I like that part, whatever part that is.
Well, I wasn't on last week's episode. I would have defended it.
You like the song?
Oh, I really do.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
I think my beef with it tends to be, I don't know, it seems like it's a common beef. So for the most part, I really do enjoy the song.
What was the common beef?
Just the way it starts with just like the One Wish, One Dream. It's like so dramatic and it just comes out of nowhere, and then the tone like totally changes. I think that's the only thing I don't like.
I'm gonna start a band called Common Beef.
Writing that one too. I'm guessing that's spelled Kamen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it common or is it common?
I like both. And they would only play like 70s anime openings. Okay. That's it for emails. What do we have on Reddit, Steven?
All right, we got a couple questions on Reddit. First one is from ATLA for Life. It says, I loved last chapter, but in classic spoiled One Piece fan fashion, something bugged me. Luffy being in the prison and recruiting the various prisoner samurai alongside the other Akazaya 9 was cool, but I felt like this could have been something Zoro could have done. By that, I mean, remember in Zou when Zoro said he'd be the one to recruit the samurai? This is something that I feel has been a problem in the last few arcs, in my opinion, that Luffy has taken center stage at the consequence of other Straw Hats getting meaningful contributions to the arc. Whilst I love Luffy, it does make me wonder just how Zoro, Sanji, and the other Straw Hats will improve enough to be a Pirate King's crew when they haven't really been given opportunities to contribute massively. I do recognize, however, that Nami, for example, got some really cool moments in Whole Cake. Am I just not noticing things I should, or do you think my gripes are legitimate? Thanks for all the great podcasting you guys give me at work.
There's not much
thinking,
more you could do
yeah.
for Sanji right
Yeah,
now.
like he's Soda Mask now. He's
Mhm.
got
But
a
he sew a mask and he made like the most
He's the main
delicious wedding
character.
cake in the world, basically.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Zoro's
Um,
obviously got something going on in this arc. Like
Yeah,
there's something,
and he's
there's
on
something
the.
there.
I mean, this week we discussed volume 93. He is like front and freaking center on that cover. I mean, and that's not a coincidence. Zoro's a more subtle character. That's also the thing. He doesn't like say stuff out loud. He's kind of the opposite of Luffy in that way, where Luffy will just say the loud part quiet and the quiet part loud. Zoro just doesn't say very much at all.
I mean, Zoro needs a swordsman opponent in this arc who is like on
looks like
his
that
level.
might be Kyoshiro. Looked like he was holding his
Could
own
be,
against
yeah.
Zoro. Yeah.
Yeah, I would add these are going to sound like nitpicks, but this is me trying to put things into perspective. Is that we're kind of like our viewpoint is skewed at the moment because Oda has been on a string of Udon chapters where he was bouncing around the characters a lot more. So we've been getting nothing but Luffy for the last couple of weeks, and that might make you forget that we've seen a lot of Zoro stuff so far, and obviously like his story is only partially told in this arc, and he's got big things coming, I'm sure. That's part of it. Also, like in terms of recruiting the samurai, this is just like one area. Obviously, Luffy is here for story purposes because this is where he can be isolated. He's learning, hockey powers. Like he's sort of training. He's beefing up for the big fight, and obviously that's kind of what what the reason for him being here is. But these are just like some of the old characters who are prisoners. There's obviously lots of people who they've been recruiting in the Flower Capital, for example. And Oda can write any number of countryside samurai or something like that when it's time to. So it's not like Luffy's doing all 100% of the recruiting stuff. This is just happens to be the scene that we've been focused on recently. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Next question is from Prince of Assassins. So last week, Steven was talking about how the Straw Hats hadn't had this much resistance to winning over the hearts of the locals and referenced Alabasta and Fishman Island. I have a rebuttal to this. In Alabasta, the major bulk of the Alabastans have no idea who Luffy or the Straw Hats even were. The only people they interacted with was Toto and later the Palace people after they already helped save the nation. In Fishman Island, the Straw Hats were blamed as mermaid kidnappers, forecast as apocalyptic doombringers and royal hostage takers. Even when the crew arrived, people still asked whether he was their enemy or ally, to which Luffy said, "You decide that for yourselves." This is the first time the Straw Hats actually seem to be making an effort to galvanize the public before the battle starts, and it's an interesting direction to take. Just wanted to say my piece about that.
I agree with this guy.
Yeah, no, this is totally true. I should point out, like, what I was saying was that Oda, because the samurai, like the local people, are almost as important as the Straw Hats in this arc. Like, he has to put lots more time into sharing the spotlight with them rather than having it just be like, like Skypiea, where it's like, okay, here's the Straw Hats, they're doing an adventure. All we see is them, and then occasionally the villains. Like, you have to build up all of these characters because they're super important, and he has a huge cast to introduce and all of that. So that's what makes this different from old ones.
And the fact that the Straw Hats are doing it under aliases, I think, is an important part of the angle here.
Yeah, that's true. It is different. Maximal says, thanks for the amazing podcast you've been doing till this day. I'm not going to talk about manga since it's on break. Instead, I'd like to talk about the anime. I stopped watching the anime since Dressrosa and just picked it up last week because of Wano. All I can say is that they're really going all out for Wano arc here. Even though the filler and recap take quite amount of time, I don't really mind since it kind of refreshed my memories on the manga part. I'm so curious about the origins of that Taiko Taco, the octopus, especially since it's no longer appeared in the manga afterwards. Pretty sure Oda-sensei has some hidden purposes with it. They also managed to make Otama as a super cute little sister there. My only nitpicking is when Otama yells, "Chance!" which kind of ruins the feudal theme for me, but overall it's still great. Also, I really can't wait for the return of Ace episode next week. Ha 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 ha.
Why are we laughing?
You really can't wait for the return of Ace.
Are
No,
they
I-
already.
Are they suggesting that Otama is an Evangelion fan? Like, is that what they're saying?
Chance. Yeah, I realized
Oh,
when
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying that was what I was mimicking.
Also, we'll finally get a gifable moment of Ace is dead.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
already just a few episodes in, it's bringing up stuff that's like, oh yeah, I forgot that was a part of this arc at the beginning. Is that going to come back? Is that going to?
It's been a very detailed art. I mean, like a lot of little things have happened. We've run all over the place. It's kind of crazy how much ground we covered, especially in that first act, which is not long. We've already gone well beyond the amount of chapters that were in that first act.
Mhm.
And a lot happens, and we go to a lot of crazy places and see a lot of crazy people, including the main character, like the main villain. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and that first act to me still is the best part of this arc. So I'm very excited to see those anime episodes.
Last question on Reddit is from a nervous flower who says, I know this was touched on last episode, but if you had to rank your 3 favorite openings for either music or animation, what would they be? My favorites would be Kokoro no Chizu for the great pacing of the music and animation. Hands up, I love the song, the little daily life bit at the beginning, and the inclusion of the color spreads. And we are tied between the original and the full cast because it's a classic. Well, you may be in luck if you listen to the intro.
Which I'm sure you did. Now, we'll be talking about this in probably a few months
Just a
or
couple-
less.
Yeah.
A couple weeks. I'm not quite sure, but it's up to Oda. But we'll do our rankings, and then we'll give you our answers then. So Ed, that's it for Reddit, right, Stephen?
That is all.
Ed, it's time to
Peace the tweet. Yeah.
what do we got this week, Ed?
Just one question, and it's from Usopp the Great, who says, "Do you know who voiced the octopus in the Bridging Wano episode? I swear he sounds familiar." You know,
Look
I
that
don't.
up.
I actually don't know. Yeah.
Can you repeat the question or
Who
the comment?
played the Wano octopus on the ship?
Oh, I don't know.
It probably
All he
won't
says is like,
say.
Thought Sam was gonna come back with an answer there.
all he says is like, yo.
Yeah.
Well, if
but
I-
it's
If
probably
I
one of
rem-
the Straw Hats.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I remember the SBS from all the way back in the day, like they have a special, like Alan Smithy style pseudonym that they have for anyone who does the animal voices. And at the time, I think this was in Alabasta maybe, because they were referring to Eyelash
Yeah.
and the Kung Fu Dugogs and all
And
those.
Karu too, right?
Yeah, Karu, yeah, and
Sanji, right? Or Zoro?
They were the Straw Hat characters. I don't know if that means one of them is doing the octopus, but in the past that was the case.
I forgot to mention this on the anime recap, but I don't know why, but the 2 workers that Frankie's talking to in the episode, they just had very specific designs and voices, and I'm wondering if those were like cameos. Did Ed or Sam, did you guys pick up on that?
Not really, no.
I mean, I know who you're talking about, but
Yeah.
it didn't strike me as unusual.
Something about them just seemed like guys that work in the office or something.
Is that it, Ed?
Yeah, that was it. Just one question.
Oh wow, really quiet week. I guess that makes sense. Let's round off.
Okay.
This is has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 578 for July 14th, 2019. If you haven't subscribed to us on patreon.com/One Piece Podcast, we have some trivia coming up in a moment. But first, where could people find all y'all? Sam.
They can find me on Twitter at LuckyShades. They can find me on AnimeNewsNetwork.com doing the daily streaming reviews for One Piece, Black Clover, and there's going to be like one last JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind episode happening in a few weeks.
It's the 28th,
so,
right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I'll be doing that.
Nice. Steven.
You may follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus. I will also be at San Diego Comic Con this week, but we do not have a panel. I think I've only heard like one person over the years actually come up and say, like, I listened to you on the podcast. So probably not a big deal anyways, but I'm just going to be wandering around the show. But that's where I will be next weekend. So I guess I'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
If you see Steven and somehow know what he looks like, make sure to tell him you listen to the One Piece Podcast.
I was going to say, make sure to tell him you know what he looks like.
Oh, God.
You just go up to Steven and you say, I know
whisper in
what
my
you
ear,
look
please.
like. You're like a tall guy, though, right? So that's going to be an interesting, like
Average.
some shorter person. Like,
Lean
I know
down,
what you
sir.
look like. Can you come down here for a second? Steve, where can people find you?
You could find me just on Twitter and Instagram. Steve Yurko is the username. Kind of low maintenance right now. See where the rest of the year takes me. But to anyone that came to AX and came to my table, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had another great year there. It's all thanks to you, fine people. And also listen to me on other podcasts. Listen to me on The Deep End, the Adult Swim / adult animation podcast I do with Matt J, and of course listen to me on Toon Suite, the wrestling entrance theme podcast I do with our good friend Doctor.
Are you doing any more conventions this year, or you're taking it easy?
I think I might do one more.
Okay.
And
It's a secret.
even if I do, that is still taking it. It's been a taking it easy year with conventions.
That's fine. You're an employed individual. You could do that.
Yes.
Conventions are taxing.
Yes.
I
Because
understand.
I have to do taxes on them.
Ed, where can people find us?
We are at OnePiecePodcast.com. You're at Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am Edward E. One Piece. I'm also at Weave Trailers on Twitter. OnePiecePodcast.com, as I said, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Spotify, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
And the phone number is 347-497-MAJI.
Maji.
That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, comments, theories, or how Shanks defeated Naruto in the final chapter.
Is that what
So,
you think Sasuke did?
He's the
I'm not
worst.
going to comment. he is. One of my main beefs with Naruto was Sasuke. Anyway, we're going to do, I think this is part...
common beef. Sam,
So,
you gotta trademark that bad boy.
Yeah, you really get the Twitter handle for that quick.
Oh, I wonder if that's taken.
Common beef. Why would common beef be taken? Okay. As of our recording this, obviously.
What do you
once you're
mean, why?
listening to
I love this.
Are you not hearing the words coming out of your mouth?
That's your look. I realize I'm wrong now that I'm saying it. So we're gonna do some trivia. Let's continue part 4 of our Vivre card trivia here because it's fun. It's easy.
God damn it!
No, you don't like these.
I'm
do
just
something
bad
else
at
if
it.
you want. No, did you win last week, or who won last week? I should know that.
I think
Sam
I did.
won? Yeah, I think Sam won. Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah, best out of 3. We only have 3 contestants this week, so that's fair. let's do Sam. You won last week. You're gonna go first. Then we're gonna do Steven, then Steve and Ed. So yeah, we
Have
actually
you
four.
added the new cards yet?
Yeah. Okay, Sam, pick one.
900.
900. It's in my second book here. 900. Let's see who we got here. It's a lot. Okay. I am going to Okay. 901. He is 33 years old. His birthday is August 6th. He is 260 centimeters. His blood type is XF. We always forget about him. But on the back, there's a picture of him as a kid. I don't even remember the SBS where they had him as a kid. A sketch of him. And the picture on the back showing his full height as 260 centimeters is his full height with his hair erect in its full glory there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it strawberry?
Nope.
No.
You never forget about strawberry.
900
You would
would be way
never
too
forget.
late for a strawberry card.
Yeah. 901 first off is too late for strawberry card. Second off, we would never forget about strawberry. That's just really just insults me. Steven, would you like to take a gander?
Yeah, is it Bartolomeo?
No, we wouldn't forget about him. Although we did forget about him a lot. Yeah, that's fair. We always mixed him up with Cavendish, Bartolomendish. Wasn't that the?
You
Yeah,
talked
was
about the
that the
hair. So I was like, oh, his
Yeah,
hair is
yeah.
erect in its full glory.
Yeah.
Steve?
Is it Don Chin Zhao?
No.
He doesn't have
You know,
hair.
It'll be
His head.
perfect if none of us get this because we we always forget this character.
He's a baldy bald man.
Ed.
No, but we always forget him. It's Gladius.
Yeah.
Mm.
Who?
Mr.
Mr. Anime.
I would have accepted Mr. Anime, by the way, if anyone said that.
No, it's just the gag of we always forget him. Like, oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was the big hint of that one.
Mr.
Steven.
Anime, adjacent to Sasuke.
Steven.
Let's see, 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4. Back to my first book here. Let's see who we got. We're always in this section, I feel like. Okay, I'm gonna do her. I feel like we've done her already.
Her?
Her, yeah, her. I'll do it though, even if we've done it before. She is 76 years old. Her birthday is March 26th. She is 204 centimeters. I did not know she was taller than Luffy. That kind of shocks me. Her blood type is X. On the back, we see her in her glory days with a pistol. That does not help at all. So there's a sketch of her in her glory days, but there's also one of her and her crew when she was younger. And that's not a sketch. That's actually a panel from the manga. And there's also a panel of her using her devil fruit power.
Wow. So she's
I don't want to be too
74.
specific because there's not 76 because there's not a
76.
lot that fit this description as far as I know.
Man.
I'm shocked she is taller than Luffy, and I think you will all be shocked.
76. Is
Maybe it's because you think of old Japanese women as being very short. So I'm not saying she's Japanese, but just like generally older women.
Well, she can't be.
think-
This is One Piece.
That's true. Unless she's in Wano, which we don't have any cards for.
That's
now.
not Japan. That's Wanonese.
Also a good episode title. Yeah, Steven.
Wow. Man. Um.
Gonna give you 3 seconds
Crew.
since I give you a lot of time to think.
I don't know. Tsuru?
Yeah,
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Okay.
she's
I-
taller
She's
than
not.
Luffy.
She isn't as old as you think she is.
When you said crew, I thought pirate.
Yeah.
You got me there.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
big. Yeah, you got to be careful with that, Zach.
No, I kind of
No,
did
it's a
that
crew
to
of badass biddies.
Yeah.
badass biddies. I didn't
Nice.
want to say that, straight out. I mean, it is her crew. That is a correct.
I guess.
I
yeah.
can you
it is.
believe she's taller than Luffy? Like that
Yeah.
legit shocks
Like
me.
all the Marines are tall. Like I think Hina's
You just-
taller than Luffy.
You just think that because she's constantly sitting and hunching over with her
Yeah.
fingers steepled.
Tasha
She
Cray
is
is taller
definitely-
than Luffy.
She does not have great posture.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. You're thinking of that exact first picture of her. It's on the back of the card, too.
Yep.
Steve.
Oh crap.
Is it bad? I kind of like how scared you were about these. Go ahead.
307.
307. You guys always pick like just around the same number. Can you pick a different number? Because we did like all the ones around there already.
Let's see. 217.
217. Okay. 217. I think we did these too, but I'm gonna give you this one. I'll give you 224. No, we definitely did 224. I'm gonna give you 265.
Big jump.
Big jump. I know. It's we've done a lot of the ones in this like number range. For some reason, you guys really like these numbers. He's 5'9". He is 79 years old, which kind of shocks me. He's 278 centimeters. His blood type is F. His height, I'll give you a similar hint from the last one. His height includes his hat. He has sketches on the back, which include him as a kid, and he is angry in that. He's very serious in that picture. I think that's a better description. Whoa. And it also includes an animal associated with him in that sketch.
Which number is this one again?
This is 265.
Okay.
God. All right. So he had an SBS drawing of him as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And animal.
There's also a sketch included in the sketches of him. There's a bunch of sketches of him on the back, including him of various ages here. They also have a sketch of an animal associated with him.
Oh, an animal associated with him.
Okay, no, don't think of it like that. An animal that always is with him.
I'm kind of.
That's the better way of putting that.
I don't know what to. I'm just gonna take a guess here. Is it Garp?
No. Ed.
The hat. It's Sengoku.
It is.
And
Fuck me.
Goat.
Oh.
Yeah, Ed. You could win right now if you guess this correct. No, this is your first one. You've stolen 2. And it's best out of 3. Yeah, so you're doing just very well this game.
All right, 111.
Oh wow. Okay. I think we let's see. 111. I don't know why I closed the book. That was stupid. Okay.
I'm trying to go earlier. There's more options, I think, earlier.
This one is near impossible, and if you get it, 118. There is no 111 yet. I don't think. Born January 31st. He is 40 years old, 157 centimeters. Blood type X.
40 years old, 157 centimeters.
57 centimeters. Yeah, I didn't realize this guy was this short. Although, to be fair, I didn't realize much about this guy. How could I even give any hints about him? Okay, on the front, instead of a flag, is a picture of his shop. Like a picture of the logo of his shop. And that is all I'm going to say, because I can't think of any other ways. And he's posing.
What number is this again?
118. And he's posing with a broom. That's going to be my last hint.
Oh.
It's really hard to give hints of this guy.
111. I'm trying to think of characters. 118. Characters from shop. Is it the sword guy? Is it Ippon Matsu?
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I was
Holy shit.
Wow.
I knew it was him, but I couldn't tell you his name for the life of me.
I don't know. After 4 weeks of this, it's getting easier because I know what range of numbers.
Yeah, that's the key to winning this game, definitely.
Like, yeah.
But
that's
insane that you knew
I have a bank
his
of
name.
characters that I can guess, and like once you figure out the numbers, it gets a little easier.
I never hinted at the sword thing, and knowing his name is really impressive. I am very, very.
Well, that's a Zoro fan thing. Like,
yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And he's shorter than Luffy. Like, he's a short guy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we learned today, Suru is taller than Luffy. Ipumatsu, shorter than Luffy.
Yeah.
That's going to
Suru's
do it
like,
for
what-
this week's
Suru's
trivia.
like what? Like 6'8"? Like
Yeah, 208
200
centimeters?
something like that.
What did they
Yeah.
say?
Jeez,
Yeah, what
she's a
is-
tall lady.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
all the Marines, like, I mean, how tall was Sengoku? You read that card today.
I closed it. 81. What is
Yeah.
so? 81 inches is how? So that's 6'8". Yeah, geez, you're right. Sengoku is. If you give me a second here, I could tell you. So wait, Smoker is 209. Wow. So wait, Smoker's only a centimeter taller than Suru. This is all
He's-
shocking me.
Yeah, like Smoker was introduced earlier on in the story because
Mhm.
he kind of has to be smaller.
He kind of has to be a normal sized individual. Suru
He hasn't
is
been drinking that New World water.
So Suru's 204. I'm sorry, not 208. 278. But that might
278
include.
centimeters.
I think
Yeah.
that includes the pigeon.
The,
So I
the
don't think he's
seagull, you
quite
mean.
9'1". That's 9'1",
Yeah.
by the way. The seagull.
Yeah, I
Did
was
say
gonna say
pigeon?
9 feet.
Wow.
That's insane.
Who's 9 feet?
Sengoku.
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 Sengoku's
So
9 feet.
Ed, you win the trivia this week. So by the way, our Vivre card ranking, Ed has won this week. Sam won last time. Alex won the time before, and Steven won the time before that. So we don't have until someone wins 2. I think we could probably try and keep going in this. Although this is going to get much easier for you guys, as Ed pointed out, when the numbers kind of align. I need more booster packs in order for this to work.
Yeah, I actually haven't gotten any since like I haven't even gotten the June booster packs yet, so I have to order those because the things coming to my Kino are not they don't get every booster pack.
The problem
You
is
guys
at
are lucky
first
your
I
Kino
wasn't.
gets them.
Yeah,
I've been using Amazon, which I probably shouldn't. But I didn't keep up at the beginning, so there might be a few in the middle I'm missing, and I'm not sure. But I don't even.
well, if you want to, I
I
mean, you can go on the wiki and cross check and see what's
Oh,
on.
it says okay.
Yeah.
I should do that.
Each booster pack is itemized.
Anyway, that's gonna do it for this week of the One Piece podcast. Next week, RogersBase is joining us as we discuss chapter 949. And then we have, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, Dan Dockery, Nate Ming. Then we have, who do we have? Abby Denton, Caleb, and Ein to round out August. So we'll see you next week. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
Bye, everyone.
Ah.
Bye.
Ta-ta.